This is by Supriyo Chaudhary. So, to explain the theories behind the destruction of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, our Indus Valley civilization. Yes, that's a good question. So, when the British occupiers of India, when they first discovered these two great ancient cities, the ruins of these two great ancient cities, they they put forth the theory that these were the remnants of, of an indigenous Indian population which was destroyed by invading Aryans. And the archaeologist Mortimer Wheeler, who was the head of the Archaeological Survey of India, he actually went ahead and said that Indra stands. Uh, Indra, it is the fault of Indra that this happened. Basically, Indra stands accused of the destruction of Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, because at that time, during the Vedic age, Indra was was the greatest god and the most powerful god of our Vedic pantheon. He is the equivalent of the later god of Greece, Zeus, and the later Jupiter and the later Thor. These are the same god with different names. So Indra was the greatest god, and Mortimer Wheeler said that it was because of Indra and because of the Aryans who followed Indra and worshipped Indra that these cities were destroyed. Now, if we look at the actual hard physical evidence, we find that there is no evidence of any violent destruction whatsoever in any of the hundreds or thousands of Harappan sites. There is not one single evidence of warfare or destruction or battles or massacres or brutal deaths or any such thing. And therefore, it's very clear there was no invasion by the Aryans or by these hypothetical Aryans. So Harappa and Mohenjo-daro and the other cities and urban centers of the Harappan phase of our civilization were not destroyed by violence. What really happened in truth is that this region was gradually abandoned over a number of centuries, not in 5 years or 10 years, but over 300-400 years. Slowly, these places were abandoned because of climate change. So around 8,000 years ago, the Indian monsoon was much heavier than what it is today. And this heavy monsoon nourished the rivers of the Sapta Sindhu region, which is present day Punjab, Sindh, Balochistan to some extent, and also parts of Gujarat. So this area is the Sapta Sindhu region, and the rivers were nourished by India's heavy monsoon. And around 8,000 years ago, the monsoon started declining slowly, and because of this, the river started shrinking, and the greatest river of all, the Sarasvati, eventually dried out. And because of this climate change, the lifestyle that the people of this region used to enjoy was no longer sustainable. And that's why they slowly, over several centuries, abandoned these cities and urban settlements one by one and moved eastwards into Madhya Pradesh, into Gujarat, into Haryana, Punjab, Uttar Pradesh, etc. So that is what happened. It was not destruction, it was gradual, slow abandonment because of climate change. Climate change is a real thing. The Earth's climate has always been changing. If you look at the past 20, 30,000 years, there are ups and downs of climate. There are ice ages and warmer periods and so on. So in India, you had the climate change in the form of declining monsoons. So that is the actual reason why Harappa and Mohenjo-daro and these other settlements were abandoned. And this has been proven repeatedly. If you look up the journal Nature, which is the world's preeminent scientific journal, then there are several research papers that have demonstrated that this is what happened. The climate change is what caused the gradual abandonment of this entire vast urban sphere of our civilization. So that is the answer to this question.